All right, so you were just mentioning that you had reviewed the tape from last time and you were getting some new insights. Please tell me what you're talking about.
Yeah, what was interesting is like to hear yourself talk like a few weeks ago, because you really can see how your mindset and your whole your whole outlook on everything changes, like just based on your moods that you have that day.
Hmm.
So that was the first thing I found really interesting. And yeah, I mean, it's just that made it like clear once again that the circumstances are what they are, but you can always like take a deep breath and come back and be happy, basically. And what was funny was that like lots of so a few things you said back then in the call like didn't. I got them on an intellectual level, but they didn't really like go deep. And when I listened again, then I really like and that's so interesting just how your mood just influences your everything, right?
Okay. So what you're saying is that there's a great deal of value in paying close attention.
Yes, basically yes. um, yeah,
And sometimes it takes a couple of times to go through it to pay really close attention. Yeah, in that regard, what happens is that because this is old, familiar uh, things to talk about, old, familiar concepts, and old, familiar things, that I sometimes get the feeling or the idea that the students, no matter what their level, have all heard this before, that everything has been done before, and there's no reason to talk anymore. I've just already laid it all out, and there's nothing left to talk about. But the students are constantly reminding me that that's not true.
yeah,
That they need to hear this stuff, just like I heard it all those years ago, and I keep hearing it over and over again.
yeah,
So that's really good. Yes. So tell me more.
yeah. Um, so the reason I decided to call you this day is especially that so how to put it. So what I've been noticing more and more is like we talked about it. I think the call before the last. We talked about like restlessness and old habits, like hiding behind the Dhamma, basically hiding behind my meditation practice, like getting restless
Hmm.
about not having meditated and stuff like this. Um, or thinking like the session wasn't good enough or stuff like this. So I've been noticing this like more and more, and been able to drop it when I noticed it. Um, yeah, and just like I noticed that I sometimes have the idea that like when I'm meditating, there have to be some really special things happening, but more and more I get the sense of like I just have to sit there and just be satisfied. And like yeah,
That's an important point. Yeah, I like that. Right. Just sit there and learn how to be satisfied with the fact that nothing's going on. Because nothing ever is going on except for those people who got stuff going on because they're dissatisfied with the way things are. If we could only become satisfied with the way things are, then there's nothing to do. And that is hard to practice, as you're saying, when you're expecting experiences. As if one experience after another would be the payback for all of the effort that you're putting in. Except now, if you're beginning to understand, and you really are, about right effort, you're recognize you're not putting any effort in anymore. You're not going to be the people who are expecting experiences put in a lot of effort, and so they manufacture those experiences. Now, as you're doing right effort, you're not going to get any experiences. You don't need any of those things. You're beyond all of that now. You just enjoy the moment as it is.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up. That's an important point. So now you recognize that you don't need the experiences, that you can be satisfied with learning how to be satisfied.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I'm going on retreat again in like a week for 10 days.
Okay.
And yeah, I wonder how I should like approach it with this new insights I'm getting about like that. I just basically, when I meditate, the most important thing is like to be satisfied with whatever's happening. And like I'm still having this feeling that I have to like. We talked about this being like the victim to say, to think like he has to like give it all he got, otherwise towards someone could say you didn't like to give your best or stuff like this, you know.
Okay, but does that mean that it has to be done with a struggle? Does it have to be done with hard work?
No.
See, okay, so let's look at the difference or the distinction then between what would be considered or called in English language the concept of striving.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have the concept of persistence. Okay, students can actually practice the piano with striving. But the important thing that's going to teach them how to play the piano is persistence. They keep practicing and keep practicing. Okay, so let's look at that word striving. I don't know how it wound up in the sutras because that's not what the Buddha taught. One of the places that's very famous is that in the Mahaparinibbana Sutra upon his death, when he kind of changed it from taking refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, is that, hey, you guys are going to have to take refuge in your own self now. But not talking about it in the self of a personality view, but rather just in common language. That all you not selves are going to have to see the not self on your own. And then the word was strive diligently. And the problem would be the word strive should be translated better as to persist diligently. But that word diligent is also incorrect because diligent has to do with also hard work. That what we're looking for is motivation or, how to say it? You could use the word drive, but that's kind of borderline. What we're looking at is really enthusiastic for the Dhamma. That's a better way of looking at it. So what that means is persist enthusiastically. All right. And I would also use the word dedication because dedication itself is not, it's used in religions in the sense of dedicating oneself to something. And then always that's kind of a duality, me and what I'm dedicating to. This is more of a dedication inside. This is the dedication to continuously persist at looking what's going on and enjoying the show. You have to keep looking and keep watching the show, but then you have to enjoy the show. I think a long time ago I gave you the song from Lanka about I'm just a little bit caught in the middle, and then in the end of the song she was saying the sun in the sky is like a spotlight shining down, and everyone's in synchronized in step, playing, and the synchronization is following all the rules, and everybody's got a ticket to the show. And then she mentioned everybody has got a free ticket to the show. Here it is. The reality this moment is a show for you to watch. Once you start paying attention, there's a show there. And you've already got a ticket to that show. And so then the rest of the song is about just enjoy the show. While the people behind her in chorus are saying, I want my money back. I want my money back. And she's saying, just enjoy the show. Okay, well, this is all you have to do. Because instead of wanting experiences, which is what a lot of people do, they start to meditate. They think that enlightenment is actually an experience. Oh, no, enlightenment is learning how to enjoy the show. That's what enlightenment is. Stop making the show heavy. It's a light show. It's not a heavy show. That's enlightenment. Lighten up a bit. Stop wanting experiences and just watch what's happening now and enjoy the show. And I hear that that's what's coming for you. You're beginning to catch that.
So, yeah, that basically means that I could like sit for hours and strive diligently in the wrong kind of way, and basically like head in the wrong direction, right?
Yes.
Taking it.
But that's very Western. That's Western Buddhism. Is strive diligently.
Mm-hmm. So what was the term you said? Persist. Instead of strive diligently, you said persist.
Enthusiastically. Or persist with dedication.
Yeah.
But I like enthusiastically, that's true. But not in the sense of excitement.
Yeah.
In fact, the word that the Buddha uses is, oh gosh, let me look it up to make sure that I've got the right word. So I'm going to Sutra number 48 and look at the sixth knowledge. Eager. Eager. That's what we mean by enthusiastic, is eager. That's the word that is in the sutta. That he practices the Dhamma eagerly. All right? Not striving. Striving, that's the Western way to do it. Work hard at it. This is something that we're really eager. We like it, but we're not eager for something in the future. We're eager to see what's happening right now.
About the process, basically, right?
So we're curious. We're interested. We want to watch. And because of that wanting to watch, that's where right effort now becomes effortless. It's because we're enthusiastic about it. We're eager to practice, and that eagerness alone is the right effort. And it'll get the job done.
Yeah, I can see that more and more, but there's still like some habits that are like telling me like, oh man, you gotta like really strive now, but actually it's all like there's no effort really needed lots of times because I'm already enjoying the show basically.
Right, exactly. So you've already put in all of the effort that you needed, and now your level of effort is skillful. Now that you have skillful effort, it becomes very easy to do. And that you wind up being eager to see what's going on because you're not afraid or ashamed of it or finding it pilfer, that you've already cleaned out enough to where you're really eager to see the rest. Okay, well, let's slightly change the subject just a bit and tell me, where are you going for the retreat?
So I'm going to Denmark. There's just a facility that the retreat is held on, but it's in the mind illuminated tradition, basically.
Okay, all right. Who's leading the retreat?
It's a teacher called Peck. And
Okay, there, you will not be the only one that knows me in there, and I know Tucker. So
okay,
please, when you get a chance to him, tell him hello from me.
yeah, I'll tell him. Perfect. It's funny, yeah.
So yes, Tucker and I don't have anything much to say about not following his instructions. Follow his instructions, but follow them eagerly, because
Okay.
you've got that force already. You practice long enough now that you know that you can do it.
Mm.
And so don't get confused about what I teach and what he teaches, because we really teach about the same thing. It's just the structure is different, or the order of events is different, to where he's got kind of a set order of things, and me, anything goes. Do the order out. We do the natural method,
Yeah.
to where the mind illuminated is all good stuff, but it's just because it's in a book, it has to be organized. You can't just lay the book out and say, okay, read whatever page you want to.
Yeah, but to be honest, for me, so it really like provided a good guideline at first and really like motivation for me, but then I had to like working with you really like cleared up lots of things for me and really gave me like just this confidence boost and this like joy in the practice that really like changed changed the way I approach like all of life basically.
Yes, absolutely. It changes one's life completely.
Hmm.
So, have you had any of your friends tell you that you've gone through some changes in the past few months? Has anybody ever said anything?
Yeah. Yeah, some colleagues told me that I'm like always like seem to be in a like seem relaxed and in a good mood. And my girlfriend like a few months ago started mentioning that I was getting really kind to her. So that's feedback, yeah, I think.
Okay, well, that's just further feedback then. Further feedback, because not only are you seeing for yourself that you've made changes, you can see you're getting the feedback from people who know you, who are going to say, yes, the Dhamma is working. They may not use that word, the Dhamma is working, but you
Yeah,
can.
yeah.
And in that regard, it is true that something about the Dhamma, in the sense of the trueness of it, the point that when people really understand what the Dhamma is, then there is that kind of eagerness that blossoms.
Mm.
And in that regard, it, even though it's psychological, I like to speak of it kind of in magical terms by saying that the Dhamma itself has power.
Mm.
And that what I have seen over time is many monks who were stuck in the same crap that I was 30 years ago, now that they're 30 years later, the Dhamma has done more to them than it has to me. That it just has that kind of effect.
Mm.
And as guys get older, they've been in the Dhamma, but they really start getting it. The trick is can I teach the students who are very young like you, so that you can have a whole life of joy. You don't have to wait until you're an old man like me.
Mm. Yeah.
So that's great. You're going to do Tucker's retreat. That's good. I would like for you to tell me all about it.
Mm-hmm. I will. So I was there last year also. So we actually I think we talked like 2 weeks before the retreat last year. So it's been a year since we talk on Skype. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. And like that's why I've been calling, because that's coming up some thoughts about, man, I got to like plan this all out and like be really diligent in this retreat because it's only once a year. But yeah, I like this conversation with this guy.
Yes, right, exactly. Yeah, I can see that. Oh, this is an important retreat. Oh, I've got to do everything like that, and then we fall back into the old ways of doing things. You don't have to do that. No, just go and enjoy yourself. If you can sit there and chuckle the whole time, Tucker will appreciate that.
All right, perfect.
Well, that's great. This has been a short talk, but I think we've gotten just what we needed to do here. Do you have any more questions about it?
No. Perfect.
Frederick, I got to tell you, I really enjoy my old students. At one time, I got great joy out of practicing and knowing the Dhamma, and then I started getting great joy in teaching the Dhamma. But now that I'm seeing that we've got students who are actually getting it, that's the big joy. The big joy is to see that I've got students who have got that joy.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Perfect. I'm happy.
And so, yeah, so thank you so much. I'm glad you called.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll see you later. Thanks for checking in, and we'll see you after that retreat.
I'll call. Yeah, thanks. Have a nice time.
Okay, bye-bye.